And that was my first time playing on Montreal soil. We feed off of them. You can't compare from the Montreal Roses right now. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I was really good at putting my future into my own hands, see if they reply. If they don't, just keep trying, following up. One of the first opportunities that I got was with the Roses, actually. In Sweden, wow. I felt like I was sticking out. The football culture is very big in Sweden. Turns out I got the MRI the same day for my left knee's ACL. I was also planning how we can beat Toronto.
Midfielder from Montreal, Quebec, who is now playing with the Roses. That's right, the Montreal Roses is here in studio to talk about all the things that she's been up to, what it's like playing across the ocean and back here as well. She was born and raised in Montreal, actually enrolled in the University of Pittsburgh, where she would play 5 seasons and pursued a degree in mechanical engineering and sports science. We need to talk to this person about all things football. Welcome back to TSN 690 iHeartRadio. This is Paul Desbaye, and it is the first half, and we are back. No more commercials, no more fooling around. Chloe, welcome to the show. How are you?
Living the dream.
Living the dream. I knew you were going to use that. We found out we are kindred spirits.
We are.
With the living the dream. I don't know, there's a slogan.
Mantra.
Yeah, I like the mantra. It's,
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So how are you?
Like I said, living the dream.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Yeah, okay, good.
Doing
So look,
well.
for those that don't know, give us a little bit of a background on this is season 2 for the club, right?
Yes.
NSL.
Yes.
Season 2 for the entire league.
Yes.
How is everybody feeling? I mean, you're kicking it off in a month and a half about, right? Even a little bit more, but end of April.
Yeah, so
Tell us.
Our first game is away.
Okay.
It is April 25th, but our first game at home is May 2nd. So we play Vancouver. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Gonna be good.
Yeah. So we've just been in preseason camp.
Okay.
So just messaging and playing. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Yeah.
How is preseason been? Everybody's feeling good and rested, and the bits and bobs that were hurting maybe at the end of last season are all healed up, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we finished our season around end of November. So
Right.
between November until beginning of February, we were off.
Okay.
So they give us a program, and obviously we need to get in there fit. But something that the Roses do really well, I think, is that they integrate us slowly. So it's not like we're running and sprinting and dying the first day. So they're very
work you
smart.
into it.
Yeah, very gradual. But it's been good. It's been good. And this year we don't really have the mental fatigue of getting to know people, because at least last year the team was new and everyone was trying to get to know everyone, and everyone was telling me, I wasn't there, but from the girls, they were telling me that their social battery was drained, and now it's a bit more seamless.
Very cool. Yeah. I guess you don't think about that, but when a team comes together for the first time.
Mm-hmm. A lot of girls aren't from Montreal, so I hung out with the Montrealers, but
The other ones leave?
Yeah,
Everybody
the
goes
other
home?
ones
Yeah,
leave.
okay.
We got we got Charlotte Bilbao from France. We have girls from the States. So
Right.
they were all in their little families and trying to figure that out. But yeah, I went on a couple trips here and there. I went to Italy.
Nice.
And I went to Costa Rica. So
Wow.
it's cool. At least with these 2 months of off season, we get to train, but also get to be a human.
Be
and
a
relax.
human,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Sort of down,
exactly.
very good. Where's your origin story is what
Yeah.
we're looking for.
So my brother was playing football growing up, and my parents aren't big soccer junkies or anything like that. They just knew that their kids had to be a little bit active. So we tried a lot of things. I know my brother did swimming too and other stuff, but my brother played for Panelinos growing up. So I'm from Montreal,
Right.
and it was cool because I'd go to the games and watch, and then I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And with brothers and siblings, you always kind of want to beat them. And I like to say that that was my little dark side. I wanted to be better than him.
Yeah.
FS Salaberry, RDP, Bravo Hansik, NDG, AS Laval, Montreal, everywhere.
Now, to play for those different clubs, was that because you were moving too, or it was just really you being transferred and doing the whole thing?
Yeah, I think we wanted to follow like the best environment. Shout out to mom and dad for helping me
Shout
out.
out, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for the drive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really cool. They must be extremely proud of you. Now, they come to all the games, of course?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
of
It's cool to
course.
see them in the stands. It is a bit weird seeing them in the stands because, I mean, I left my family when I was 17 to go play in the States.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
So I actually didn't know too much about like how to make it as a footballer.
Right.
So I saw a lot of my close friends that were older than me go to the States, and I was like, okay, maybe this is like a path I can explore. So I was lucky enough that my club brought us to showcases and was helping with that at the time.
Interesting.
And yeah, but to be honest, I was so lost. I had no idea what I was doing. I would send, I think I had an Excel spreadsheet of like all the coaches, maybe 100 coaches, and I would track how many like emails I sent and how many replied and all that. I think out of 100 emails I got like 3 replies. So it was a tough it was tough out there. But
but that's tenacity. I mean, we're trying to get as much information out there for other young athletes.
Mm-hmm.
They got to listen. It's not just I'm going to go to practice a couple of times, play a game on the weekend, and then I'll make it or I won't.
I was really good at putting my future into my own hands because I know a lot of my friends, for example, they would want to join like an agency that'll help them get like a highlight video and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I didn't want to put $1,000 aside, or I didn't want to pay someone to do that when I could do it myself. So I learned how to video edit when I was like 12, and then not 12, maybe a bit older, but just so I could like figure out how to do this myself and actually put my career in my own hands. So yeah, I made my own.
Which is key.
That is key because then you have something to tell for yourself. Like I made my own highlight video, and then I was like, okay, send it to all these schools, see if they reply. If they don't, just keep trying, following up. And I ended up getting contact with the University of Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And how it works is that they bring you and they're like, okay, you can visit our school, and they pay for your flights and everything.
Wow.
And then at the end of the trip, they basically tell you like, okay, here's your offer for the school. Thankfully, I decided to go to the University of Pittsburgh, and this was not in the plans because I was planning to go to another university, and then out of nowhere, out of nowhere, they were like, we don't have the money for you, when I was going to commit the same day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and had a little freak out, but it all works out in the end.
It all works out, right? Living the dream.
Living the dream, Paul.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my calendar was packed to the brim.
Packed to the brim.
Yeah.
So now you're in university, you're playing football. How are you going from that to the next step?
Honestly, it felt like finding another university all over again because I think for me, I decided to find an agent. So at
that point, okay.
Yeah, so I graduated, and at that point, you kind of need a little bit of guidance. I know you can do it without an agent, but for me, that's something I really wanted to have that blueprint and structure with an agent who knew what they were doing. So same thing, same process. Emailed a lot of people, tried to figure out a lot of meetings, and thankfully my coaches at Pitt were very helpful with that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because like, let's say I found an agent, then we would set up a meeting and see if they were good.
And the coaches were helping you with that?
Yeah, so the coaches can ask all like the right questions for me. Yeah, because sometimes you don't really want to ask like, oh, like where do you see me playing, or like can you
what
put
position?
Me in? Exactly.
Where are we gonna live?
Exactly.
When am I getting paid? What's the plan? Yeah. Well, no, there's a lot of questions.
There's a lot going on.
Rights, who owns my, like,
oh my gosh.
It's a lot of, but it's a lot of things that an athlete might not be thinking about because literally you're concentrating on what you need to do on the pitch, right?
Exactly. The first, one of the first opportunities that I got was with the Roses, actually. And then I got this Swedish opportunity in Sweden. Yeah. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Then I was talking to the Roses, and I was talking to the Swedish club, and I ended up making the Swedish club decision instead of opting with the Roses. So I spent.
Can you say the name of the Swedish club for me, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's called Växjö.
Växjö?
Yeah, Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, okay. Växjö. I didn't know how to say it before I got there.
When I read that, I laughed at myself. Like I was like, not a. I even wrote a note. Like, don't even try. Yeah, good luck saying the team's name. I wrote it to myself.
Wow, wait,
not
you
even
do have that.
I did. Yeah, I wrote it down. I was like, not a chance. I couldn't even pretend. Then I went online. Like maybe you get that little robot tell you how to say. No, not a chance.
Yeah.
That experience must have been insane.
Yeah,
Right?
It was only until like I had a meeting with the coaches and they had a presentation on the club that,
Yeah.
that I found out what the club's name was.
Amazing. And
So-
so that experience.
Yeah.
So making that move, what was that like? Food,
my gosh.
people, the environment, your time off. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, packing your life into 3 suitcases or 2 suitcases is in itself crazy. But Swedish people, I love them. They're great.
Yeah.
Very different. Like I felt very.
In what way?
I felt very extroverted. I am extroverted already, but in Sweden, wow, I felt like I was sticking out.
Really?
Like because they're very to themselves, timid, and as soon as you get to know them a bit more, that's when they really open up. So
Wow.
yeah, I was very talkative, and I remember speaking to my Swedish teammates after they got to know me, and they were like, yeah, like we thought you were crazy, like
Crazy.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
totally mental.
Yeah.
Like what is
So,
wrong with this girl?
Exactly. So,
That's
but
funny.
I mean, have you ever had Swedish meatballs from IKEA or something?
I've seen them. I haven't eaten.
You got to
no.
indulge.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Sweden,
It's a real thing.
it's a real thing. It's a real thing. No, the culture is so different, and I was lucky.
But it's welcoming.
Yeah.
Is there something specific that you saw there that you would love to have seen or would love to see here being done within the football community that could benefit the club, your club, any club, boy, girl, doesn't matter. I don't like, there's just something you saw there like, oh, that's an interesting element.
The football culture is very big in Sweden. So like even if we were playing in like a small town, that small town would be packed with like with people. I mean, not in my small town where I was living, but like there was so many people at like a random Swedish town that I didn't know there was any population. So maybe the culture, but the resources though, you can't compare from the Montreal Roses right now. Like we went to like a public gym instead of like a private gym that we have at the Roses now.
Okay, yeah.
We get meals offered at the Roses, but in Sweden at my club we had maybe once or twice a week we'd get like a meal. So I think
Very
the
big
resources,
difference.
the resources is where.
So
there's a
funding is
Yes,
a big thing. But is there
course.
something you're looking forward to the most right now, or a team you're looking forward to the most playing again? There must be something that is on your mind. It doesn't have to be the team's mind, but
Yeah.
yourself.
Oh, I'm actually, very looking forward to our first home game.
Yeah.
I think like playing at Stade Montréal, it's different. It's
Yeah.
cool. Like
In what way?
I mean, you look around. I think the way they made the stadium, you look around and it feels like you're congested with people. Like it's so cool to see like how many people are around the field.
Yeah.
And I think it's designed in a way where maybe there might be less people compared to like BMO Stadium or something.
Sure.
But because they designed it in a way where it's all around the field, it looks like it's amazing, and it is amazing.
So home opener. This
Home
is the one,
opener.
yeah. And is there a team
May
you're most
2nd.
looking forward to facing?
Oh, Toronto, 100%, because last season that's
Right.
what we lost.
That's what you
versus
lost.
Toronto.
Yeah.
So
So you want to wrong those rights.
Yeah, I you know how I said I was in Italy and in Costa Rica for
Yeah.
2 months? I was also planning how we can beat Toronto.
Is that
Just
right?
scheming.
You were
Just
scheming. You had your like sketchbook out. You had you had all your
Yeah.
calculators. You
Oh,
were
I
watching
think
old tape.
Just the revenge. We have to. Come on.
That's so
to.
cool. Well, look. I mean, how have you found the fan base here? And this isn't about a critique. It's more, what you experience with the fan base versus the fan base experience in, I will use Sweden.
Yeah, I think maybe there was an older population in Sweden watching the games.
Okay,
yeah.
older.
And maybe because there's more things, I don't want to say things to do in Montreal, but like at least in Canada, you have so many different sports that are really, really big.
Yeah.
So in Sweden, you have hockey that's big and football, and that's pretty much maybe curling too, but like
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't
right?
understand that.
I know.
I understand it, but it's big.
it is big, and I didn't know
So
that. Yeah,
big.
exactly.
What?
So I think maybe there are more avenues to indulge in Canada compared to Sweden. So maybe that's why it's so saturated.
I need you to tell me right now, what is one of the worst moments in football that you've experienced?
It was as a player. It was August. It was August 2022, and
Oh wow, you're down to a date.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. No, but this is important.
Yeah, and it was at a practice at the University of Pittsburgh, and we were doing an inter squad, which is a game between your own team. So no opponent, just versus each other. And this was the only only practice that my coach was like, don't go too hard. We don't want anyone getting injured.
To the whole squad.
Yeah. So spoiler, I ended up getting injured in that game, and that was the worst. Honestly, that I was in denial. I think I went through how many stages of grief are there?
Quite a few.
Yeah, in like 2 seconds. But yeah, I didn't believe it. I got tackled, and I was like, there's no way. Like, I think my ego was like, there's no way I can get injured. So I'm like bouncing around the locker room, even though like I was in tears. Like, I was like, something's a bit off.
Something's not feeling right.
Yeah, and I was doing zigzags. I was like, it can't be.
Even after the tackle.
Yeah,
right.
I was like, it can't be. Like, come on. My knee is fine. Yeah, turns out I got the MRI the same day, and I tore my left knee's ACL. So
that was it.
Yeah, and you hear a lot of stories about women footballers getting their ACLs.
Is that because
torn.
of the footwear?
I'm not sure if it's more so the footwear, but the way our hips are aligned compared to men.
Because
but
I was reading, we brought up on the show at one point because I was reading this article about. I think I can't believe it escapes me if it's Nike or Adidas, but there was actually a big push to create a football boot better. I think it's Nike, right?
Yeah, the Phantoms.
Yeah, because it actually makes a difference, which is again, obviously, wouldn't think of that, but of course that makes right. So there's these little things, especially at your level, at the professional level. Every single little minute detail makes all the difference. Give us one of your, one of those. What an amazing! It was an amazing goal, or was it amazing? Just something that rings today. Because again, you have quite a lot of football ahead of you. But to this moment, what is one of those special moments? I
think I'm gonna say my first ever game with the Roses at home. Because it was a lot on the line. We had to, if we won that game, it was versus Halifax, we would clinch our spot in the playoffs. And that was my first time playing on Montreal soil in front of in front of the fans, in front of my family, my friends. So I'd say that was a top moment for sure. Amazing. For sure.
How important are fans to the game?
Oh my gosh. So important. Yeah, right. Like, I remember when I was playing during COVID and there was no one in the stands, excuse me. And compared to now, playing at Stade Boreal when it's packed, we like feed off of them. And it sounds so cliche. You've heard all of these athletes say it, but when there's boos for the opponents and there's cheers for us, it's an electric feeling. So really, always grateful. Yeah, so grateful to have so many fans come to our games.
All right, question 1 here on the first half. You ready to go? Oh,
ready.
What is your favorite film?
Lion King.
Number 2, what is your favorite song or band?
I used to be a really big fan of One Direction growing up.
There's no wrong answer
when you said band, I was like, that's who I thought of.
That's fine. Favorite sports team?
Oh, Barca. Oh, Roses. Whoops.
It's not a trick question. Favorite athlete, dead or alive?
Kobe Bryant.
Number 5, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, a gyro.
Number 6, what is your favorite drink, alcoholic and non-alcoholic?
I don't drink alcohol, but my favorite non-alcoholic drink, maybe sparkling water.
There's no wrong answer. I love that you're laughing. Mom and Dad are listening. That's why I know what's going on. That's a joke. What would be one thing you would buy if you won the lottery?
Oh, a house for my parents.
Number 8, dream trip.
Like anything, at all.
Yeah, sky's the limit.
The moon.
You can pretty much go to space. Maybe the moon not yet, but it's coming for sure in your lifetime.
Why not?
Okay. Number 9, how do you deal with stress?
Meditation and breathing and journaling.
Mm-hmm. Very important. Very important. Put it down on paper. Mm-hmm. Little after hours, pajamas or no pajamas, Chloe?
Pajamas.
Okay. Number 11, what is your favorite fashion brand at the moment?
I don't have one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Roses apparel.
Roses
See?
apparel.
Here we're lining you up. Lining you up. Very nice sweater you wearing.
Thank you.
Number 12, name one thing you could not live without.
My family.
It's good. These are
Yeah.
good answers. You know mom and dad are listening.
Are
12, no, maybe not, but
Imagine.
they'll listen to
Okay.
it later. And 12.1, I need one word to describe football. So football is
Art.
beautiful. That was very well said and right on point.